Okay, well, we've gone through our LAN basics, our network fundamentals, okay, and at this point, if you have watched every video and serious about what you're doing here, okay, you should be proud of yourself, okay, all right. If you went to a Juniper course, all right, you would not get that fundamental aspect, okay. And Cisco looked at it from the perspective of how are we going to be able to start training without going all the way down to bare minimum, okay? And that is how I've always loved to teach, and that's why it's extremely relatable, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I love Narvik's training, okay? And I've already spoke to them about getting my security training, so that I'm going to be pulling the trigger on that sooner than later, but not right at this moment. Okay, so all right. So what we're going to talk about today, after I kind of send this, yeah. Okay, all right. That's it. What we're going to do is we're going to go and figure out how to create our drawings and what our symbols truly mean. Okay. All right. And so let's go into our Visio, since I don't have a drawing pad. Okay. And we'll use Visio as our means of understanding. All right. Create. Where is? Oh my God, this thing here. Okay, I should be getting an email from myself, which is not working. Again, I hate this damn cell phone more than anything else. Wi-Fi is on. Airplane mode is off, which I have a it's funny, I have a serious habit of doing that. Let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, let me check my connection here. Matter of fact, while I'm doing this, let's see if I have any issues on my hard drive. No, good. Good. And if you wonder what I did differently to get this back down to this level, malware, AVG, and it did a booting scenario where you can get it to scan your boot process. It went through that. Probably took like 10 minutes, maybe 15, to scan the entire C drive. And the next thing you know, now my hard drive is back to the way it should be. So let's see how my PC works from there. So ping. Okay, all right. So now let's go into here. Let's close this. All right, our connection is not. All right, now we got internet connectivity. Okay, so now I can go back over to here. All right, and there we go. All right, let's go ahead and close this. All right, so there is our document, okay? All right, and what we're going to do is have kind of an understanding. As you can see, our routers, as I am labeling my routers, I always put an R in the center of a circle, okay, indicating that this is a router, okay, and what that router number is. All right, as you can see, here is a line, okay? All right, and it has a /30. Now we gotta understand, what are we really doing with a /30? Okay, let's do our subnetting. All right, this is a 10.20.10. Slash 30. Okay, first of all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that is 24, right? So that means we're still going into the last octet. All right, so that's 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. So that is our slash 30. Okay. Now, if we go back and take that last octet, okay. All right. And we're going to actually go into OneNote to do this. Zero. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 0. Okay. All right. Now remember, we are using our numbers here. 1, 2. Okay. Now remember, okay, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Okay, so remember, whatever bit that we are stopping at, okay, all right, that's the bit that is going to give us our magic number, or we can take, okay, starting off with our 2 character, which will be 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Okay, 64, 28. 256. Okay, so we're going to take our magic number, or we're going to find out what our magic number is. Let's say 256, okay, minus, how do we do that? Okay, do you remember? All right, well, we are doing a minus 4 because we have 2 bits that are off, and we're looking for the host, okay, or we're actually looking for our network concept as far as adding these up, okay? All right, however, all right, we are going to minus a 4 here. All right, and that gives us a 252, okay? So that means my subject mask, okay, if we add up all these numbers here that have 1s, it should come up to 252. Let's find out. Because we're going to add up all the bits that are turned on, okay, right? All right, and we're 128. All right, remember these numbers, when we start with a 2, that's how we're calculating our how many hosts and how many networks we're using. So it's not what's going to be done in our math. All right, so 128 plus, oops, here, 128 plus 64, that bits on, 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4. Okay, that gives us a number of 252. Okay, all right, so that is our magic number, right? So, but it really isn't one. Is that really our magic number? Because we did this backwards. I did a minus 4 when I should have been doing minus 252. Okay. I just wanted to show you that, and I did not do it on purpose. Okay, it was actually a mistake. Okay, but in the back of my mind, I'm looking at it and say, okay, what are you doing, Kyle? All right, you're messing up. All right, and it's very easy to do that. Okay, so we're going to be turning the bits on, figure out how many bits we need based on our number of networks. Okay, starting off with the 2 to multiply. Okay, how many bits do we need, right? Because it's going to be 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Okay, 64, right? 64 networks. Okay, with this subnet mask. Okay, now, but our magic number is 4. So that means, okay, now that we fixed my mistake, that means now, okay, my first network is going to be 0. My next one is going to be 4. My next one is going to be 8. Okay, 12, 16, 20. You get the idea? Okay, all right. All right, so now let's do our subnet, let's do our broadcast address. All right. All right, last valid host. And first valid host. Okay, notice between our first and last, we only have 2 valid hosts that are possible on this network. Okay, now if we go back to our diagram, would that work from one device here into another device? Yeah, it would. Okay, so if I'm looking on a /30, and this is a slash, this is a .0 network /30. Over here is the .4/30. Okay, so let's go back to our chart here. All right, and we're choosing both these networks. All right. Okay, so now, as we build this out in Visio, we're going to take our next little router here, okay, by finding out where our router is, network symbols 3D, okay, all right. Now, with this particular thing, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight it and just start typing. Okay, and then I'm going to take this yellow square and just go ahead and just place it right back up in there. All right, we'll go ahead and delete this and go ahead and move this over to copy it because they're in the same place. I want it to be uniform. Okay, I'm going to use the control key, not the shift key, and I'm going to go ahead and select this again, and I'm just going to start typing again. All right, okay, and now they're there, and they're uniform. Okay, instead of trying to physically make that movement with each router, just go ahead and copy them. Go ahead and make my line here from square to square. All right, get my pointer. And go ahead and bring that to the front, not selecting the line. So with the line, they actually go to the back. So I can actually select the line and right click and send it to the back, okay? But, you know, that's just the way I do it. So now, okay, this line is indicating that I am just using a flat out Ethernet cable, okay? That's what that symbol is going to symbolize to me. If it was a serial cable, my cable will actually look like a lightning bolt. All right. Okay. So when I'm using a straight line, it is implied that I'm using Ethernet cable to connect them. All right. Now this is a router, so that means each one of these interfaces, the interface on here that's connected over to here, to this interface, each one of them have to have an IP address. All right. Go ahead and let's do 192. I'm sorry, what was it? 10.20.10. Dot 1 slash 30. Format shape. Go ahead and fill. Solid fill. Go ahead and change that color. And we'll make it a green. Green's always my favorite color when doing this. Green. Okay. Alright. So now, I'll teach you something real quick. You have theme colors and you have standard colors. Okay? If you are creating a document, you need to know the difference between these two. Okay? Your standard colors, okay, which is what I'm going to choose here, alright, is never going to change. Now, I can always add, if I don't like that particular color and I want it a little bit lighter, I'll go ahead and lighten that up. Click OK. See how I got lit? Okay, and then your standard color is added down here. Okay, this will never change. As you are sharing the document with somebody else, the color and scheme will stay the same. If you use theme colors, okay, if somebody else is using a different desktop theme or their theme, a different coloring scheme for their theme of their look of Windows, okay, the coloring has a potential of changing. Meaning that in this row here, these colors are green, okay, green might not even be there for that particular theme, okay. So these shades of colors, or these numbers of colors, meaning that, you know, up to 255, all right, your coloring scheme, as you're going through here, you go to more colors, this is the color I'm talking about, okay, these numbers here, all right, you need red, green, and blue to make up your colors, all right, and you can manually change this, okay, let's go ahead and let me make this as a 200, okay, you see that, all right. I changed it by changing the blue content. All right. And let's say 255. All right. Look how that changed it. All right. Because I gave it maximum blue. So obviously I'm going to be on the blue spectrum of the actual color wheel. All right. So, you know, understand that these theme colors, okay, rule of thumb as you're doing your engineering, don't use theme colors. Okay, because you're going to give it to somebody else, and you're going to be talking about, yeah, do you see the actual green indentation or the green lines on the document that represents our coloring, and they're looking for the green lines, and they don't see any because they changed the orange because their colors because their theme colors. So don't use theme colors. All right, as a rule of thumb, as you're going through and doing these. And most people don't realize that. They don't recognize that as to them they're just colors. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and bring this over here. I'm gonna drop it down one. So it'll be a little easier to read. Move it over so it's not eclipsing the actual router. Okay? So that means with a /30, I only have 2 possible networks. Now you also got to understand that we're losing 4 addresses though, because 20.10.0 is the network number, okay? Oh, where's my text? All right, so our network number is 10.20.10. 10.0/30. Okay, and then our broadcast is 10.20. Okay, see how kind of weird that was? Okay, fine, and then, because of the fact that this is just what I do. Okay, Vizio is one of my things that I use on from a perspective that I like showing off some of my skills in Vizio. So some of the little things with the application you get used to it, like the cursor being in the center of the actual text box instead of toward the left. Okay, using the tab key to line up my words and my numbers. Okay, broadcast is longer than network. However, my numbers are in line. Okay, using the tab key. All right, so the network address and the broadcast address. Remember, unless you set a certain command in Windows, not Windows, in the iOS, Cisco's iOS, you can't use those from a standard TCP IP perspective. Matter of fact, in Windows, it's not going to let you do it at all. Okay, their use of the protocol, they don't shut that feature off unless there's a way of doing it without me knowing it. And I could care less. I could care less of how to change the actual way TCP IP behaves in Windows so I can use the broadcast address and the network number. It ain't that important. Okay, so I just stay within the guidelines of that TCP suite on Windows. All right, so I'm not saying it can't be changed. I'm just saying I have no energy or effort or willingness to actually make it a concern of my existence. All right, does that make sense? So now we have only eaten up 2 IP addresses from a valid IP address host perspective and 2 addresses, one for the network, one for broadcast, from a TCP/IP perspective as far as our boundaries are concerned. So that means with a /30, every network I use will actually be consuming 4 IP addresses. Now that's a lot better than having a direct link, okay, or in our world we call it a point-to-point link, okay, because there's nothing else between this network. The only way you can actually get somebody else on this network, okay, is plug these 2 into a switch, okay, all right. But check this out. If I isolate it in the same VLAN and only have router 1 and router 2 in the same VLAN, technically, logically, it's a point-to-point. I will still draw it this way. Okay, physically, okay, it's not a point-to-point. It's actually going into a switch port. Okay, all right. So we're using our /30s. Okay. Now let's go back and take a look at the diagram. All right. Look how I draw these point-to-point links, going from the device to device, and look how I draw, okay, if I have more than one link on an actual connection. Okay, this line, this horizontal line here, that will symbolize us being on a segment, meaning more than 2 devices are connected on that subnet. It's not a point-to-point link anymore. Okay, we have, even though in this perspective, or in this scenario here, this is a point-to-point connection, okay, and this right here all right, we'll go ahead and circle that. We're going to send this to the back, all right, and we're going to actually fill this in with a little bit of gray here. I was going to use my theme card. Okay, that is your broadcast domain. And it's also your collision domains. Okay, where here, my broadcast domain is 3 devices in this scenario. Okay, so that line is symbolizing that, hey, we got 3 devices talking on the same subnet, which is the 10.10.10.0/24. Okay, see you later, guys. I'll be right back with another video.